Hello. Hello, weekend, even though it's a Monday. Tuesday, because it's a Tuesday. Hey, it's a short week. Woo! Hello, squaddies. I hope you're well. Or whomever has joined my chat, please say hello in the chat. If I tell you what I have been through this week, I swear to God, YouTube is just the most. Do you know what? Let me not shade YouTube yet. I don't have the follower count to drag YouTube yet. Hi, please say hello in the chat. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening from, I don't even know, is it overcast London? I don't know what's happening. Apparently it's been raining. Please say hello in the chat so I know you're here. Oh my god. People, if I tell you what I have been through this past few days, all my plans to go live, YouTube did what YouTube does. I couldn't get live. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was worried they had done that thing they did to me again. Amaka, how are you? Good evening, my sister. How is it going? Are you in London? Are you in Nigeria? Are you somewhere else in the world? Please let me know in the chat. I'll give you guys the tea. It's been hell. Elfaz, hello. The mess. Bear with me. There's this thing I was working on that I worked on it overnight. I didn't even solve the problem. So this is why being an engineer is wahala. Oh, you're in the US. We're in the US. Let's get some more people on. This is a very hello, Peach. Hello, 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 hello. No, I haven't heard of the lesbian drug. Oh, for depressed lesbians. I wear glasses, but still I can't see anything. I presume you are some sort of a mod. For people that are asking, I see the bots, I see them. I think you can get a moderator. I don't know how. I don't know if it's automated or if it's something that I have to pay for. But yeah, I am working on it. I'm getting my laptop off so I can use that to self-moderate. Yeah, so hi Alpha. So what we're going to do today is we are reacting to the Duchess Meghan's finale of the first season. Yes, they are the same color of the first season. And guys, this is very bittersweet. I don't know if you guys listened to Archetypes. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but because at that point I was just discovering Meghan and I was rooting for her, but I wasn't really paying attention. You know what I mean? But I liked Archetypes. I liked the one she did with the Nigerian sisters, Isare and Ziwe. And you know what I realized? Yeah, I like this more. While it was nice, I feel Archetypes was while I appreciate Archetypes, I prefer this. Um, okay, I prefer this actually. This season has been absolutely fantastic. I was gonna give it. Let's wait till 5 o'clock, and I'll give a quick intro. This is very bittersweet, guys, because this is the last episode, the finale of this wonderful season. Guys, did you hear that podcasts are getting Golden Globe nominations? If Megan gets a Golden Globe nomination, oh my God, I think the rota will go on suicide watch. But you know how they'll most likely, make something, say something snarky and cruel and nasty. But it wouldn't matter because Megan has a Golden Globe nomination. I don't even want to hope, but it would have been nice to see her there. Hopefully she earns it. So the Golden Globes, more than anything, let's be very honest, is about who you know. It's not really, I think we can all agree in Hollywood, it's more of a decoration award than anything. Hi, Novest. Hi, everyone. We're giving it too much. I'm just using this to catch up with everyone. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all well. I look like Norbit, thanks. I like my glasses, so whatever. What was I just saying just now? Oh yes, I was saying that. Thanks, Novest. Yeah. So this weekend has been weird. I was going to do a live for everyone, but something happened yesterday with my YouTube. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was very worried that YouTube had censored me again. But all of a sudden this morning it started working, and I really missed out. But I'm still going to do my deep dive, my very short. Okay, I will be honest, not necessarily very thoroughly researched analysis into the fact that your future queen and royal racist Kate Middleton is an illiterate. This one is not my be, she is. I'm not saying she can't read. I'm just saying that she honestly doesn't appear to have the type of reading skills I would expect a woman who not only grew up with very rich parents or somebody who went to a very expensive private school education to have. The fact that she's just and the funny thing is, I keep on telling people I am a terrible presenter. I am awful. If I don't have my notes, I'm effed, because I can't think. I panic under that type of pressure. But the fact that she has all the resources she has, all the money they spend, she can't get a good speech writer, and she hasn't bothered to teach herself how to elocute. This is somebody that is about to be a head of state's wife, who will be hosting things, speaking to dignitaries, and she can't even talk. So yeah, I will do my deep dive into that. Don't worry, it won't be live. I know many of you don't care, but it will be a very interesting and funny video. But yeah, I just want to get more people in the chat, get more people in the crowd. Yes, while I'm here, I want to very quickly plug membership. Nobody has joined so far. Guys, come on, please. It's cheap. What's going to end? Let me just tell you what you're going to get. We're going to have members only live sessions. I'm going to open a Discord channel so that we can talk to each other. We're going to have live sessions where we can, communicate. I see many of you are friends here. You are in a community. We're going to have those spaces for us to do that. For those of you that live in the UK, we can talk about setting up a live session, a get together. And yeah, more importantly, you'll be kindly helping me support my channel. I'm not growing as much as I would like. I would love to. People tell me, "Oh, make your videos more this, make your videos more that," and I'm like, look, I'll keep it honest. Look, the reason I enjoy doing this is what you see is what you get. I'm not going while I will get maybe better equipment for better lighting. I am never going to try. I am not making a video show. This is us having a conversation and sharing thoughts and sharing ideas. And I think I want to keep it as real as possible, I don't know, there's an article that came out about Meghan talking about a very lovely article that I enjoyed. Have you guys seen it? I was going to recap it, but let's use this particular video to praise Meghan and congratulate her for another fantastic season. Her podcast was needed. Please drop a chat. Let me know if you found what you enjoyed the most about Meghan's podcast. For me, as I told you guys many times, I am on my entrepreneur journey. I still work because I enjoy what I do, and it's not as easy as an engineer saying, "Oh, I want to source out my gifts to people." Why? Because the market is completely flooded with multinational companies, consultancy companies that basically suck up all the jobs. So you can't say, "Oh, I want to go to JP Morgan, give them my CV, show them my portfolio, and ask them to hire me on as an engineer." No, I have to go through their supplier who will bring me on. And their supplier kind of like gatekeeps who they bring, because they want to get a lot of money and not pay you enough. They will bring a lot of people from cheaper countries, or they might offshore a lot of the work. And I think a lot of engineers in the UK suffer because it doesn't give us a chance to get that experience, unfortunately. And this is why I want to do things my own way. I want to try and, do my own business. Even if I can't do it directly, I can build things and share it with you, the consumer, directly. And I found the podcast very encouraging. It's been very nice hearing from a lot of women I never heard from before, who became billionaires, multi-millionaires from having everyday ideas. Many women, like, do you guys remember the bootstrapping business? She didn't have any, she had to use her own money, right? Everything came from her. And even as she scaled her business, she's still using her own money. So, yeah, I found the podcast very useful, very encouraging, very enlightening. And it's nice to see a lot of women achieve these things. What I would have loved is if Megan had brought on more women of color who were business women and built brands, like black women like me or African women. But it's one season, it's 8 episodes. Now that this has happened and Megan continues to grow her brand, I bet you next season, if we get next season in the same format, we will get a similar type. More women will either reach out to Megan or make themselves available to her so that she can invite them onto the show. So I personally look forward to it. Not that okay, I've spoken enough. 10 minutes, I'm ready to start. So guys, we're going to live react to the final episode of Confessions of a Female Founder. We're going to talk. I'm going to like keep quiet now and let us listen to Megan. I'm going to be on the chat though, so yeah, give me one sec.
It's all in one place. LinkedIn even has a new feature to help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/femailefounder. That's linkedin.com/femailefounder to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. I moved to a new state years ago, and one of the hardest parts about it was breaking up with my therapist. I'm not kidding. Plus, then I had to look for a new one. Seriously, I almost reconsidered the move. But Rula is here to help. Rula connects you with in-network therapists licensed in your area that accept a variety of insurance plans. Most people who use Rula pay only $15 per session, making therapy more accessible than ever. Join the thousands who have already turned to Rula for support on their journey to better mental health and well-being. Getting started is easy. Just visit rula.com/confessions today. When you sign up, they'll ask how you heard about them. Please support our show by letting them know we sent you. It's a simple way to help us while you take the first step toward the care you deserve. Go to rula.com/confessions now and connect with a licensed therapist who truly cares. Your mental health matters.
Lemonade. In one particular day, I pulled off the side of the road and I remember thinking, I'm in the wrong movie. Call the director, call the producer, cut. This is not my life. Let's change the movie. We're changing the narrative. I don't want to be the star of this movie anymore.
I'm Megan, and this is Confessions of a Female Founder, a show where I chat with female entrepreneurs and friends about the sleepless nights and the lessons learned and the laser focus that got them to where they are today.
No time to get down, cause I'm moving up. No time to get down, cause I'm moving up. No time to get down, cause I'm moving up.
Listen, over the course of our lives, we're told all sorts of things that we just sort of accept as the way things are. You'll hear common expressions like beauty is pain, business is war. I mean, you start to hear them so many times that at a certain point, you sadly start to believe them. But what if we could rewrite those narratives? What if there's another way? What if business isn't war and it's a playground? And our guest today, she's a true testament to that. She has always defied stereotypes and found a much more fun and creative way to go about building her brands.
And I went home that night and sat on the floor of my apartment and I just said, I'm not going to war. Like, why does it have to be war? Why would anyone want to go to war? I have no desire. I'm going to do this so differently.
And she did. Sara Blakely went from selling fax machines door to door to revolutionizing the shaper industry with a brand that I'm sure you've heard of, Spanx.
Oh, look at this.
She turned the $5,000 she saved up into $1 billion brand. And at the time, she became the youngest self-made female billionaire. But you know, she didn't stop there. She recently sold a majority stake of Spanx and decided to start something brand spanking new, a shoe line called Sneaks. What I love about Sara is how she doesn't subscribe to the traditional ways of building a business. She genuinely follows her gut. She has a lot of fun along the way. She doesn't take it all too seriously, even though she is so dedicated to what she's building. She just knows there might be a way to flip the script. There's just so much that all of us can learn from her and how she's done this. I'm excited to dive into it.
Oh, now I can see your face. Hi.
How are you?
I'm great.
You look amazing.
You have one beam of light coming down across your face.
If-
You're being divinely like
Oh my God, I didn't see that.
I'm being interviewed by an angel.
Isn't that bizarre?
That's so bizarre. What is that? You are literally like, I feel like spirit is coming down.
Well, also, and I'm wearing white. I mean, the whole thing. It's a
the
bit
whole
dramatic.
thing.
I'm moving. I can't.
Okay.
It's too distracting. Are you good? Is family good?
Everybody's really good. Everybody's really good. We're in a good chapter. My kids are all good. Husband's good. I'm settled into the transition of, selling the majority of Spanx. That was a really intense transition for me. I'm on the other side of it. So I'm having fun with Sneaks.
Oh my God, there's so much to talk about.
I know.
How old are the kids now?
Tepper, my daughter, is 9. Lincoln and Charlie are 10. And Laser is 15.
I don't know why I always forget that they're that
Many?
age. I mean, people forget. No, I always remember you have a lot of kids. You've got a lot of kids. But the amount of what you have created, evolved through, the level of what you have done while having this many children, all at that age.
I know.
It's something that I think people often forget. People forget that Lily is 3 and Archie's 5. So you look at the past 5-6 years of my life, it's yes, with being pregnant or with a newborn or with a toddler and then another one.
You can't even describe it.
You
can't. You have to live through it and that's it.
Yes.
How are those cute little munchkies?
Oh my gosh, I'll send you some pictures. They are so grown.
I want to come see you guys. I'm going to be at a conference in May. So I got to get you those dates.
That's when really we spent the most time together for the first time. You were here for that conference.
Yes. But remember, like, as soon as we hung out, we're like, oh, this is so easy.
Oh my gosh, and margaritas and guacamole can do that.
It can do that.
It was just so nice because you would think, it's like, oh great, let's connect. And then hours and hours later, I think you even changed your flight.
I did.
And we just had so much fun. One thing I do remember is all those years ago when you came and we were hanging out by the pool and chatting. It is an origin story piece that comes up a lot for very successful entrepreneurs. And for you, you were talking about these Wayne Dyer tapes.
Yes.
That you would listen to. And I didn't know who Wayne Dyer was at the time. But do you want to start back? I mean, that's such an interesting part of your beginning to get to where you are.
Yeah.
And Cassandra Morales from Kitsch, when I knew her all those years back then, constantly listening to Tony Robbins. Over and over and over and over. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So there's something to that.
There is something to that, Megan.
Tell
for
me.
sure. I'm a believer. And I love her. I mean, I found out, so she feels like a kindred spirit to me, for sure. When I first met her and heard her story, we have a very similar sort of spirituality.
Yes.
And a mindset towards business that felt very refreshing to me, because I did Spanx in the year 2000. There were very few women that I could go to. Like, I really didn't have any, honestly. And so I was on my path, which was very much, asking the universe for signs and doing all these things that all my male counterparts literally thought I was crazy and were counting down how long I would stay in business. So I didn't really even have other female founders that were in my network that I could kind of bounce how I was approaching business, because I was approaching it very differently than the guys that I love and adore that I got put in a business group, which, by the way, I've been in the same business group. It was called YEO. Now it's called EO. They put me in a forum with 10 men, Megan. So I've been in the same forum with 10 men and me for 25 years. And we meet once a month.
Wow.
And we talk about everything going on in our personal lives and also business. So it's almost like having an informal board. And I've had to go on vacation once a year with them, with 10 men and me, which you can imagine the looks I've received through the years. But,
Oh my gosh.
I say I'm like Jane Goodall, but instead of observing chimpanzees in their natural habitat, I get to observe men in their natural habitat. They totally forget I'm there.
No.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, this is so different than when I hang out with my girlfriends.
Oh my gosh.
They say, Sarah, well, how are you going to handle that? And I'm like, I'm gonna ask the universe for a sign. And I'm going to get quiet and I'm going to spend some time thinking this through. And they all thought I was crazy. And then Megan, within the first maybe 5 years, Spanx was so successful. It was undeniable that something was going on. And so the guys started really leaning in and going, what's happening with this girl? And one by one, they each privately pulled me aside and said, how do you talk to the universe?
No. Oh my gosh. That's so good. And what did you tell them?
I was like, well, you have to be specific and get quiet, find out where you're channeled. I know where I'm channeled. I'm channeled in the car while I'm driving. Where are you channeled? And of course, they're just like, the steam's coming out of their ears. They're like really conservative Georgia businessmen. Like they could be the governor one day. And they're like, okay, wait, what do I do? I'm like, it needs to be where you daydream. Like, where does your mind wander? And pay really close attention to when your mind wanders, what's coming. And for me, I do make decisions by very specifically asking for a sign. I've been doing that for maybe my whole life. And listening to Wayne Dyer, to get to Wayne Dyer, I started listening to him when I was 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And what happened was I was in high school, Clearwater High, grew up on Clearwater Beach, Florida. And I had a very serious sort of tragedy happen to a friend of mine in front of me. So we were riding bikes. She was run over and killed by a car in front of me, which was obviously very jarring and very upsetting and horrific. And then at about the same time, my dad left home and my parents separated. And when my dad moved out, he handed me the cassette tape series by Wayne Dyer.
For people who aren't familiar with Wayne Dyer, just as I wasn't when you had mentioned it to me, he really is inspirational, affirmational type of train your brain.
Mindset. He was a psychologist who...
Oh, I didn't know he was a psychologist.
Yeah, he practiced for like 20 years, listening to everybody's issues. And he said he just saw a theme and could really understand the human psyche after all those years. And he started writing books about mindset. And in those cassette tapes, he was teaching manifesting what you want, law of attraction, not fearing failure, not caring what other people think about you to the detriment of you honoring your own authentic self. And I always tell everybody, there's always a hidden blessing in the darkest times. And my hidden blessing was that I was willing to listen to it, right? Because I think if you handed a 16-year-old at Clearwater High, this middle-aged bald man with a bushy mustache that said how to be a no-limit person, and you weren't broken, you probably would have chucked it in the bottom of your closet. But instead, I put it in my boombox, I hit play, and I sat there and I cried because I thought, I have just spent 16 years in school being taught what to think, and no one has ever taught me how to think. The light bulbs went off and I was like, wait, I can train my thoughts, I can train my brain, I can curate how I respond to all this stuff coming at me. Like, it was fascinating to me. So then I just became so hungry for it. And there were always these cassette tapes in my car. No one wanted to be stuck in my car after a party, Megan. No one. They were like,
just you and Wayne Dyer.
They were like, everyone else is listening to Bon Jovi and Madonna, and you get in my car after a party, and it'd be like, what do you really want with your life?
But that's amazing. I mean, and also it's amazing for several reasons. A, it's amazing because it speaks volumes to how you've ingrained the possibility of more and taking control over your thinking from such a young age, but that you were able to do it at a point where you had such compounded grief. You have the grief of losing your best friend, you have the grief of your father leaving, and then you have grief after that. I know with boyfriends in high school, not with a breakup, but also tragically passing.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you think about most other teenagers, when you have 1, 2, 3, these larger than life traumas are happening at a young age, and you double down on something that I think actually set the trajectory for your entire life.
You're 100% right. It 100% changed the trajectory of my life. Mm-hmm. I remember, I sold fax machines door to door for 7 years. And after one day of cold calling all day in the same zip codes, I'd get out of my car and I'd walk up and down small businesses like a pawn shop and this place and that place, trying to sell them a fax machine, right? So people are kicking me out of their buildings. They're ripping up my business card at least once a week. And in one particular day, I pulled off the side of the road and I remember thinking, I'm in the wrong movie. Like, call the director, call the producer, cut, this is not my life. And I drove home and I wrote in my journal, what are you good at, Sarah? Like, what are you good at? Like, how are we going to curate a new life? Like, let's change the movie. We're changing the narrative. I don't want to be the star of this movie anymore. And I wrote sales. It was like the only thing really I could think of that I was really good at. And I asked myself a really important question. I think most people, would have said, okay, what are you good at? What are your strengths? Sales. Well, if I had left it there, Megan, I am sure that I would have gone out and got another sales job. But instead, I asked myself, why? I go, why are you good in sales? Why do you like sales? What is it about sales? And then, because I asked that second layer of questioning, I wrote, I really like giving something to someone that improves their life or that makes their job easier, or I can sell them something that they get excited about. And the minute I had that epiphany, I wrote in my journal that night, I'm going to invent my own product that I can sell to millions of people that will make them feel good.
Stop.
Yes.
And then it happened.
Well, it happened 2 years later, but I set the intention. Like the soundbite in the media for 25 years is Sarah cut the feet out of her pantyhose to solve this undergarment issue and voila. But I had been doing so much mindset work and I set the intention for the idea to come to me 2 years prior.
Right. It was already in motion.
Right. And then 2 years later, I cut the feet out of control top pantyhose to wear under my cream and white pants and to a party. And I was like, wow, maybe that's the idea I asked for. I don't want to squander it. I told the universe I wouldn't squander any idea it presented to me.
But I think for anyone who's listening, that's got to, that just has to be so inspiring on so many levels, because I think there's a misconception that you need to have. Go to Harvard Business School and have a lot of money and get all the best people behind you and get your, cap table and have the best VC or private, that you need so much to be able to move the needle. And that's the piece that feels completely unsurmountable. You're like, how am I going to do that or that? You talk yourself out of it before you even have an opportunity to hear what the vision or the idea could be. You've already talked yourself out of it, but you talked yourself into it before you knew what the vision or the actual idea could be. And so to have that kind of turnaround within 2 years from, I think, what was it? You took $5,000 of savings and that's what you put into your R&D to try to figure out, okay, there could be something here. And then in that first year, in year one, what was it, $4 million in profits in year one?
It was successful. I was profitable from my first month in business at Spanx.
I mean, that is wild.
Wild. But I also really bootstrapped, and not every business is set up that way. Sometimes you have to put way more money to get your product off the ground. But yeah, I was profitable my first month in business at Spanx. I did take the $5,000 that I had set aside from selling fax machines to see if I could create this idea. I chose to invest in myself and my mindset. Exactly what you started out asking me about, Megan. Find anything that helps you become more self-aware, to unblock your obstacles, figure out what are your patterns, what's holding you back, what's your mindset on money, what's your mindset on success. Like, a lot of people don't even realize they have not great narratives around success or around obtaining a lot of financial freedom and money for themselves for lots of different reasons. There's all these things that I spent a lot of time excavating and figuring out while I was floundering.
Right.
So the one thing that I knew was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but I know I'm going to invest in myself. And that's what I spent my entire 20s doing.
But that is so hard to understand, because I genuinely believe I would love to be able to adopt that level of a mindset where, as you're talking about, even for a lot of people not being able to buy into the hope or the promise of something more for themselves and financial freedom. I think so many women, especially, we're taught to not even talk about money. And there's lots of guilt mentality surrounding
There is.
having a lot. And then at the same time, there's a scarcity mindset that it's easy to attach to of like, I'll never have enough. And I think if you're able to, in your 20s, with all the noise that surrounds, that you were just able to get so quiet and clear, it's profound.
Thank you. I always tell women in particular, I said, money is really fun to make, really fun to spend, and really fun to give away. And I think money just makes you more of who you already were. Like if you're a jerk and you get a bunch of money, you become a bigger jerk.
Yeah.
If you were insecure and you get a bunch of money, you become more insecure. If you were generous, you become more generous. It kind of just holds a magnifying glass up to you, but it doesn't create something terrible that I think is really important to get clear with for each individual person, because I do think that's a big reason also why I was able to do what I did.
If you're a small business owner, you know that the person tasked with hiring for your company is probably also doing a million other things. Ideally, all their time and attention would be spent composing the perfect job description, reading hundreds of cover letters, or flying candidates out for intensive in-person interviews. But come on, that is not real life. So if your HR team needs a little help, it's time to try LinkedIn Jobs. Here's how it works. LinkedIn's new feature helps you write job descriptions. Then you post it for free if you'd like. You can add a hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture and get 2 times more qualified candidates. Or you can pay to promote your job listing and get 3 times more qualified applicants. LinkedIn will quickly get your job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small and medium-sized businesses using LinkedIn say that it helps them find high-quality candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/femailefounder. That's linkedin.com/femailefounder to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Now that spring is truly in the air, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for a wardrobe refresh. Out with the old and with the new. And with Jenny Kane, your new pieces will become instant favorites. Jenny Kane has everything you need, from sweaters and tops to dresses and shoes, even accessories and home decor. Each piece is quality made and pairs so well together. You can dress head to toe in Jenny Kane, and you'll not only look amazing, but feel comfortable too. Speaking of comfort, one piece I've been eyeing is their Cove dress in navy stripe. It is easy, breezy, stylish, and flattering, and no bra needed, which is an added bonus. Throw one of their cotton cardigans on top when the sun goes down and the temperature dips, and you are good to go. I know it will be going in my suitcase the next time I take a trip. Find your new spring uniform at Jenny Kane. And our listeners get 15% off your first order when you use code CONFESSIONS at checkout. That's 15% off your first order at JENNIKAYNE.com, promo code CONFESSIONS. Let getting dressed be one less thing to worry about.
So, random question.
Yes.
But I'm super curious. As you think of, this is not on my papers of things to ask you. I just really want to know.
Oh, good. I love those.
Because I think when I think about people who manifest and you're so spiritually inclined, are you superstitious? Are there certain colors you wear?
Yes.
You're always in happy colors. Like maybe that's part of
I'm
it.
very superstitious.
Maybe I need to wear less white because you just wear these happy colors and then it makes people smile immediately when they see you. And then it feels like this joyful energy radiates.
Oh.
And then perhaps that creates a ripple effect because it just feels playful.
Yes.
At the same time as being serious as a businesswoman, but playful. There's something about how magnetic it is to see how colorful you are when you enter a room just by dint of, the book in front of you is the same color as your shirt right now.
True.
It's really pretty, like pale chartreuse. But what are some of the things that you do that maybe are conscious or not conscious? So I feel like everything you do is probably very intentional, be it from superstitions or colors or habits. What are those practices that are part of your day-to-day that might be surprising?
I have created an entire system of good luck around me. I have a good luck backpack that I deemed in college was good luck, and it is good luck. I have...
You still have it?
Oh, yeah. Well, I started Spanx with it, and I had it for the first 7 years as my purse, this dirty red Eastpak backpack that I would take on every important meeting, Megan. I landed Neiman Marcus with this thing. And my friends, when I got my 15 minutes to go to fly to Dallas and talk to the Neiman's buyer, they were like, please don't take your red bag.
That's sad. Red
Buy
bag.
a Prada bag, return it the next day, whatever you have to do, Sarah. And I was like, no, it's lucky. Anyway, now it's framed on the wall at Spanx. But
Oh my gosh. I love that so much.
yeah, it was with me everywhere I went. I have a lucky number, and when I see it, I feel like it's a wink from the universe telling me that I'm on my path, or I'll just get like a little, like, it's almost like a high five
Oh, me too.
that I've created from the universe.
I'm with you on that. Laura Lynn.
Yeah, I have this whole system. I've been doing this since I'm little. When I was little, I decided that the song Sarah Smile by Daryl Hall and John Oates
Love that
was
song.
the universe communicating with me and saying, like, things are going to be okay. And I will hear it sometimes when I exactly need to hear it. You know, I'll just be in my car after a really hard moment, hard day, something's going on, and then it comes on and I'm like, okay. It just realigns me completely. So I've been doing that for a long time. As I mentioned to you, I ask for signs when I make big decisions. And I'll say it needs to be specific. You know, it can't be a rainbow.
Right, exactly.
I'm like, I can't be like, was that a sign or not? It needs to hit me over the head. Like, that is a sign. And then the other thing that I did that felt different at the time in 2000 was I really used feminine principles, and I wanted to be guided by the divine feminine in business, which I felt had been very squashed and left behind.
Can you expand on that for people who don't know what that means?
So I feel like, okay, business is a very male construct. It was created by men. It was designed by men. The rules were made by men. What success is even defined as was created and agreed upon by men. So the feminine was not really in the room at all. She had the feminine energy. The feminine had no say in this. But women, we have had a chance to play in this masculine construct arena, probably in a meaningful way, only in the last, 30 years?
Yep.
I mean,
Well, it wasn't until the 70s that women could even have a credit card line, a line of credit on a
Right.
credit card without her husband saying yes. I mean, that is.
Megan, do you know what year women were allowed to get a business loan on their own without a man co-signing or agreeing to it?
Was it late 70s, early 80s? No, are you going to shock me?
1988. I was a junior in high school when women were allowed to actually go into a bank and say, I'd like to bet on myself. I have a business idea.
Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Really?
I started Spanx only 12 years after women even had the opportunity to do that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, mind blowing.
Anyway, business is a masculine construct. I was so grateful for the masculine energy in me that was going to help me create Spanx, right? I couldn't do it without my masculine energy, but I didn't want my feminine energy to be left behind because the business community had created a scenario that made that seem like a weakness, right? Like when I was using intuition or vulnerability or empathy or the things that I think are more classically assigned to feminine energy, didn't feel like it was commended in the corporate world. It didn't feel like it was rewarded. It felt a little unsafe and a little weird to bring that out.
Right.
And so when I started Spanx, two guys came up to me at a cocktail party and they go, Sarah, we just read about you in the newspaper in Atlanta. Congratulations, you invented something. And I was so excited. I said, yes, I did. And one guy put his hand on my shoulder and he said, well, business is war.
Oh.
And I said, oh, okay. And then the other guys started laughing and they kind of had this little banter with each other and they go, yep, Sarah, business is war. I hope you're ready to go to war. And I went home that night and sat on the floor of my apartment and I just said, I'm not going to war. Like, why does it have to be war? Why would anyone want to go to war? I have no desire. I'm going to do this so differently. And I may end up so unsuccessful or I may not, but I'm going to choose a different path. And everything I did, my marketing back then in 2000, I laminated a picture of my own butt before and after. Like, that's pretty vulnerable, Megan. I'm standing in Neiman Marcus with the prettiest woman ever. And I'm like, here's my butt. Like, this
With your
is
red
what it looked
backpack.
Yes.
Red backpack and a laminated photo of your bottom.
But, I always wanted to use that. And then for me, intuition always was how I made my decision. Like I would look at data, half the time I didn't understand the data, but I would like absorb everything. And then I would say, I'm going to go for a drive because I knew that's where I could really connect.
So you have all this, obviously the energetic piece is huge for you.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you still have to have some sense of how to build a business or some sense of what to do. And to my understanding, most of that for you was to make your patent, a book that you found at Barnes and Nobles, and you figure that out and start to really be scrappy and piece it together. How much of that do you think, if you're saying there weren't a lot of people that you could talk to, women at least in the sector at the time, you know you have this idea, you think you're onto something, you're trying to shop this idea, even to just get it manufactured, and people are saying no because they can't buy into the vision of it, except for, was it one manufacturer whose daughter or wife said there could be something here?
He had 3 daughters. He rejected me like a lot of the factories did, but then he brought it up over dinner, and the daughter said, you know, Dad, this is actually a good idea. I don't know what to wear under white pants either. You should maybe help this girl out.
So it goes from this $5,000 investment that you make in yourself, and the scrappiness to still be aligned with, I know that there's a there. But then what moves the needle? You have the Neiman Marcus meeting. How many units are they buying? How do you go from, okay, you get one great meeting to you become what Spanx became so quickly, relatively speaking?
I mean, I just, whatever I sold, I took the profit from that and bought my next batch of Spanx. And so I just used the profits from the sales, and it continued to get bigger and bigger and grow in that way. But I was very scrappy, very bootstrappy. You know, I remember standing in rooms back in those days, hearing how much money all the people around me had raised, and thinking in moments like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. Like, I haven't raised anything. But then I look back on it, and it just never felt right to me. I never took a business class, but I was like, why does that feel off to me? Like, everybody around you saying, I raised 20, I raised 50, I raised 100, and they're all high-fiving each other, and they're like, but I tell entrepreneurs, when you do that, and there are times where you have to do that, there are certain business models, there are certain things that you're going to do, you are giving up a piece of something for that.
You're diluting yourself.
You are diluting yourself. So why are we all high-fiving you? It became like a badge of honor when I was starting Spanx. How much money did you raise? You know, and I'd say none, and they'd be like, oh, you know, like. But I also felt like I was willing to grow smaller if I needed to, and be very intentional and stay very focused on the consumer, which is my love. I want to make her happy. I want to make her feel better. I want to give her better options. And I'll let the chips fall where they may around me. But if I had investors, I knew that I wouldn't be able to honor my intuition.
Yes.
Because intuition's not on a spreadsheet. It's very hard to explain. And it's sometimes really counterintuitive to business and the way business works.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I've invested in a lot of female founders, and I'm really conscious, I know as you do too, but also you just mentor so many women and you want them to succeed. To really, I'm not in the business of trying to dilute you. I'm in the business of trying to uplift you.
Right.
You want to be the person that they can call when they're having a quality control issue, or they're worried about something, or they just feel uncertain, as we all do. And now I'm on the flip side of that, going, wow, I have a partner. I was going to do it all by myself. Took a complete U-turn because I really believe in what Netflix and their CPG department are doing. But it is a different experience than if you're doing it on your own. When you only have yourself to answer to, I think it's twofold. It can be incredibly liberating. It can be incredibly lonely.
Yeah, it's both. It's both, for sure.
What did that feel like for you at the beginning with Spanx?
I mean,
you were your own soundboard.
Yeah. Spanx never had a board for 16 years. The board was my dad. So my dad would come in to town 4 times a year and hang out with me and the leadership team and go over the business.
Wow.
So
wow.
Around the 16-year mark of Spanx, I brought in a few additional advisors beyond my dad, but I never had a formal board at Spanx.
Can I just ask on that? I remember reading, or you maybe had told me, that when you were younger, your dad would ask around the dinner table, what did you fail at this week? What did you fail at today?
Yeah.
Meaning, if you failed, you at least tried.
Yeah.
You tried beautifully. And it doesn't matter if you failed.
Right.
When he started to advise on the business 4 times a year, was he asking those same kind of questions?
Yeah, I mean, I would talk to my dad all the time in the business. I was very lucky that I had a parent who is incredibly strategic in his thinking. He's a lawyer, but he's very smart, and I trusted him, and that was huge for me. So he was always trying to get us to redefine failure growing up, my brother and me. And listen, my brother's 4 years younger than me. My brother invented a product in a field that he knows nothing about and sold his business. So something happened in our house, right? My mom's a stay-at-home mother and an artist, and my dad was a litigator. He was a very charismatic trial attorney, and they really fostered something in our house that my brother was an accountant who invented a machine that allowed businesses to text message their customers. And he was on the first to do that. And I remember running around Del Mar, California, where he lived, trying to sell this little machine for him with him to sandwich shops so that
You in sales.
so a customer could text before, and his company was called Zingle. But I think that it paid off that my dad was encouraging us to fail, because I think most children really don't want to disappoint parents. We want our parents to be proud of us. So we start taking less and less risk because it ensures we're safer.
Pride, yeah.
Not disappointing them. And my dad flipped that narrative on its head and was like, I kind of want to be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed if you don't fail at something.
Wow, it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And you had equal parts of that pragmatism as well as the creative from your mom as an artist.
Yeah.
So you have both pieces where both sides of your brain are going, okay, what can I create? How can I dream in a bigger way? One of the books in front of you, Dream Big. But how do you do that as well as, and take risks and don't be afraid.
Right.
I love that.
I know.
I think everyone is so scared, especially as we get older. You're so scared of making a mistake. You're so scared of doing it wrong. You're so scared of not getting everyone's approval. And I love equally that at the beginning of Spanx, you held that close, because it becomes like Survey Monkey at the beginning of a business.
Oh, forget it.
You're like, what do you think? I was thinking it's no different. And I will say this to every woman in the world, every person in the world who's going to have a child. If you have an idea of what you're going to name that baby, you keep it so close to your heart until that baby is born and it's named. Don't ask anyone's opinion.
No.
Not dissimilar to naming your company, which also I think for you, I hope you inspired Cassandra that we talked about with Kitsch.
Yeah.
When I talked to her, she said, well, Sara Blakely had said like things with a k sound, like Kodak or Coca-Cola do really well. So I'm gonna do Kitsch.
Yes, the naming of it and everything with Spanx was fun. It took 2 years to come up with the name, and I wrote it on like gum wrappers and rental car agreements and everything. And then it came to me across my dashboard of my car one day in traffic. I saw the word like in my mind, and I pulled off the side of the road and I wrote it down. And then as I was trademarking it on my computer, I trademarked the name Spanx for $250 with my credit card.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
I know. And at the last minute, I backspaced the K and the S and put an X, because I did research that made up words do better for products than real words do. And they're easier to trademark.
That's certainly true.
Yeah, I loved hearing that story from Cassandra, because she's doing really cool things and she's really successful.
When I'm running around from work meetings to soccer games to dinner parties, I'm lucky if I remember to even wash my hair, let alone really truly care for it. That's why my party trick is Nutrafol. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. Anything truly worthwhile takes time and effort, and with Nutrafol, see thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair and less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. I tried the Women's Balance formula, and I noticed that my hair looked so much thicker. Truly, when I run my fingers through it or look in the mirror, it just looks so much better, like I'm 10 years younger. And that has really impacted my self-esteem. I feel so much better. This summer, stop worrying about your hair and start making memories. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code CONFESSIONS. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code CONFESSIONS. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code CONFESSIONS. Telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. But sometimes scrolling through huge lists of providers to find the right one for you can feel overwhelming and impersonal. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is on a mission to make high-quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. They start by asking you a few questions about what's important to you, and then provide a list of in-network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day. Plus, Rula takes most major insurance plans, and average copay is only $15 per session. You can get the quality care you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Join the thousands who have already turned to Rula for support on their journey to better mental health and well-being. Getting started is easy. Just visit rula.com/confessions today. When you sign up, they'll ask how you heard about them. Please support our show by letting them know we sent you. It's a simple way to help us while you take the first step toward the care you deserve. Go to rula.com/confessions now and connect with a licensed therapist who truly cares. Your mental health matters.
As though you needed to do anything else. You didn't need to do anything else. And I remember you were sitting here, this was a couple of years ago. We were sitting here after Polo and you said, I'm working on something else. I can't talk about it just yet, but I can't wait to share it with you when I have it. And I said, okay, you don't need to be working on something. I was like, yeah, no, but I'm excited about it. Cue sneaks. Okay, let's talk about it. How, what, when, where, why?
So I care so deeply about how women feel, and I feel like the beauty industry and the fashion industry in particular has really focused on how we look, but not how we feel. So I have wanted to advocate for women through product because I think we deserve both, right? Why does it have to be mutually exclusive? I was fed a tagline that my grandmother told my mother, who then told me, which was beauty is pain.
Yes, we've all heard that. I know.
I mean, I'm sorry, BS. They even gave us a tagline for it. I'm like, why does beauty have to be pain? Oh, I get it. The people who are making everything for us don't wear it.
Right, fair.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's been no lens of like, but wait, how am I feeling in this?
Yeah.
So, high heels, I've been saying since I started Spanx, every time someone's like, so what's next for Sara Blakely? I'd say, well, someone needs to invent a comfortable high heel, okay? I would love to do that, and then I'll retire. And I would just laugh. And after 10 years of putting it out into the universe, it never happened. And one day I very specifically said, okay, universe, I've been saying this out loud for a long time. I still am a consumer. I haven't found any heel I want to wear that doesn't kill my foot. Am I supposed to do this? Give me a sign. So then the next day I flipped on the news and it was Gayle King, and I was running out the door to Spanx, but I caught like 2 minutes of the morning news before I headed out, and she was interviewing Christian Louboutin, which was very odd, right? Like hard news morning. And so I was like, I just asked for a sign and this is really weird. And so I paid extra attention.
Mm-hmm.
And in that interview, which, Gayle holds up her shoe, takes it off her foot and holds it up in the air and goes, I love this shoe. It's a work of art, but I got to tell you, by the end of the day, I could be crippled. And as a product person, I'm watching this, right? And all I care about is how does she feel? How does she feel? Are you happy? Do you feel good? I'm expecting him to go, I know, I'm working on it. And instead, he said, I do not want my shoe to be comfortable.
Oh.
If my shoe is comfortable, I take it as an insult.
Oh.
So I said to the universe, okay, I get it loud and clear. Thank you very much. Like, not only are they not working on it, they don't care.
It's not the aspiration at all.
So then I set out making it. I spent the first 4 years quietly with 2 girls that make bras, which is very technical. None of us have one idea how to make a shoe, but I didn't know how to make shapewear either. And I always say to people, when you don't know how something's supposed to be done, you're insured you're going to do it differently. Mm-hmm. And that's where innovation is. So 4 years into it, flying over to Europe all the time, Spain, Italy, it didn't matter that I was Sarah from Spanx. Nobody cared. Half the people I cold called said no thank you. They told me it couldn't be done. It would be too hard.
Wow.
Then I worked with one factory in Italy. 6 months in, they fired me. They said they don't want to deal with this anymore. And I went to another factory. 8 months in, they fired me. So I was like, and I wanted it to look exactly like a traditional stiletto. That was the mandate. That was like my goal, but exponentially more comfortable. We got it to where it was going to be 4 years in. and it was more comfortable, Megan, but it wasn't exponentially more comfortable. And so I looked at my team of just two girls that I absolutely adore, and I, through tears, said, we're going to pull the plug. Like, we tried, and it's not there. Because as someone who invents and creates products, if I'm especially if I'm going to launch a new company or brand around it, I always say I have a mental check that it needs to be 10x better than anything else out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was maybe 4x better. But to me, that wasn't a big enough moat, and it wasn't a big enough reason for me to spend my time, energy, and if I'm going to offer something to a woman, I really want it to be radically better.
Yes.
And as I was leaving the factory in Italy, I said, why has this been so hard? I just want my high heel to feel like my sneaker. And in that moment, Megan, I said, you know what? Let's try that. And the girls were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, let's just see if I can merge a sneaker with the stiletto. I want it to feel like a sneaker. I went home, I cut my sneaker in half. I glued it to the back of my stiletto that I cut in half and hobbled around my house for a couple days, just brainstorming and thinking, could this work? Would this work? Like, I know all the pain is in the ball of the foot. This feels so much more comfortable. Could I get it to look kind of cohesive? And that's when we pivoted. And then I spent the next four or 5 years trying to get that made. And I told the team, this may never get launched, or if it gets launched, it will be when I want to wear it instead of any other heel I have in my closet.
Mm-hmm.
And same with the girls. And that happened for me.
Well, it's so key for people who want to start their own thing to also hear that it's okay to pivot.
Oh yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and it did not end up that way.
But also, it did. It did end up visually as maybe you had sought out, but you were still solving for the same thing.
I was.
By the way, for me, when I started making my jam, I was all about my jam hats. People were like, what is she going on about? I was like, like a really chic version of the little cloth thing that I tied around. Everything's going to have a jam hat. It was like, why is she talking about jam hats? Now, as it evolves, you go, well, we're not at the farmer's market, and we're scaling to something that's much larger than this, and we're not going to have these little monogram pieces of cloth that sit on top. I was like, but it could be repurposed as a coaster. And wouldn't it be so cute as a hanky? And I just think there's something so charming and darling about it. Okay, no, the vision for me was so clear.
Right.
It's another pivot where you go, okay, can you let go of that? Because ultimately, what are you solving for? Ultimately,
Right.
You're solving for someone having a beautiful, sentimental, elevated experience as they start their day with breakfast. That's what I was solving for ultimately. And I could dress that up in different ways that didn't include a jam hat. For you, what are you solving for? The comfort that you've been seeking for 20 plus years. So it doesn't actually matter how it manifests itself. It manifested itself.
It manifested itself, and I didn't get in its way.
And you didn't get in its way.
And you're right. I was open. I literally never set out to make a sneaker heel. I mean, are you kidding me? That wasn't even on my radar. But when I was done, I was like, okay, this is wild. This is where this ended up. Mm-hmm. I wanted to solve three main things, Megan. I wanted to fix the toe squeeze.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I wanted the weight to be redistributed, because since basically the 1700s, when heels were, they haven't changed much, Megan, since the 1700s.
Right. We're just leaning forwards and then counter-correcting.
Exactly. And then, of course, by adding the tread and the midsole, you get extra cushioning there. So it's a very unique experience when you're in this, because you're in a 3-inch stiletto, but if you close your eyes, you kind of almost feel like you're flat on the ground.
Wow.
And I'm able to wear it. Like I literally had to stop wearing heels. That's how painful they became for my feet. I wore them for so many years. I destroyed my feet. And I'm not the girl who can rock jeans and sneakers. I feel like I look like I did in middle school. I don't want to go out to dinner in that look, Megan. No. So I was like staring at my pointy-toed shoes, and I'm like, you hurt my feet so bad. And then I'd look at my sneaker and I'd be like, yeah, I don't really want to wear you either.
A friend just said to me the other day when they were like, I just saw this picture I'd forgotten about when you were so pregnant with Archie. I mean, I gained 65 pounds with both pregnancies.
Oh my God, you're so tiny.
And you're in these 5-inch, I always just wear my 5-inch pointy-toed stilettos. They're like, you have the most enormous bump, and your tiny little ankles are bracing themselves in these high heels, but all of my weight was in the front.
Right.
So you're just going, how on earth? Like people,
how on earth
am I not just tipping, face planting? It's like I'm all clinging very closely to my husband. It's like, Please don't let me fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you created the antidote.
I went through tons of self-doubt. Should I launch this? Is it the weirdest thing ever? What's going to happen? I had all the same self-doubts I had when I started Spanx 25 years ago. Didn't matter that I already had Spanx under my belt, and I had to work a lot on my own mindset around launching this. And I always like launching something new with something that feels disruptive, right?
Yeah.
So I knew there'd be a lot of conversation around it.
Yeah.
And I've got many more things in the hopper. I can't wait to continue to.
You're not done yet?
No. I can't wait to create. I mean, in the shoe category for now, I've got many more things, but I also have a lot of other ideas outside of shoes. But I definitely am excited to kind of really sink into this luxury shoe brand that's really fun to wear and stylish, but also comfortable.
Well, and by the way, it's a natural evolution. It has to happen that way. It has to evolve that way because women are becoming savvier, smarter. We're taking care of ourselves in a different way. It has to happen. And you're the person naturally who can do it because you've committed so many decades now of care for how women can show up, feel their best selves, and still look a certain way that they want to present. So you feel good and you look good,
right.
But you're not sacrificing your own care because at the end of the day, I mean, I remember my acupuncturist in the UK said to me, and it has always stayed with me, said, if the baby's crying, treat the mother.
Wow.
It all starts with us.
Yeah.
Good Lord, we have to take care of ourselves first. And I think you've just really created such a beautiful and celebrated business model, not just because of the fiscal success you found, but because you've done it with such acute, mindful intention that stems from care. You care about women, and that's so evident in everything that you've created. And I guess now that you'll continue to create, which I can't even believe you're going to keep going.
I'm cheering you on too. I'm like, wait, that took like 3 years for my therapist to say that. Like you just said that in 2 seconds of hearing me talk about something. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing. I'm going to go change and put on something colorful for the rest of the day.
Tell Harry I said hi.
I sure will. Thanks, honey.
Bye.
Well, that's a wrap on season 1 of Confessions of a Female Founder. I just want to say thank you guys so much for being so open to hearing all of these women's stories. I hope you felt as inspired as I have. Thanks for your support as you heard my story too, little bits of it. It's just the beginning, but my goodness, it's been really great to be able to share it with you. Wishing you all the best and loads of success in whatever you're building today and every day.
Confessions of a Female Founder is a production of Lemonada Media, created and hosted by Megan. Our producers are Catherine Barnes and Oha Lopez. Kristen Lepore is our senior supervising producer. Executive producers are Stephanie Whittles-Wax, Jessica Cordova-Kramer, and Megan. Mix and sound design are by Johnny Vince Evans. Rachel Neal is our VP of...
Hi guys, sorry. I didn't want to interrupt anything because I figured, there's a finale. She might drop something, like, how Marvel, when they had their movies, back when Marvel used to be good, and you had to stay for the end credits, otherwise you might miss something coming in the next movie. I thought we might hear something. But what do you guys think? Please let me know in the chat. I really enjoyed this one. I think this is a very fitting finale, frankly. Why? Because the idea of, with any business, because with any business, right, or with any business idea, it's all well and good to have an idea, but I always tell people, when you're doing something and you get stuck, what will kill you is when you refuse, or when you allow yourself to stay stuck, when you don't pivot. So I love the fact that, the Spanx woman had this multi-billion-dollar idea and achieved a lot of success, but that didn't stop her. She still said, you know what? I've been successful here. What's the next thing? So it's really, really, I found it very motivational. Did you guys find it motivational? I thought it was great. I thought it was fantastic, frankly. And yeah, it was just a really good podcast. I really enjoyed it. I found it very motivational. Like I said, I've posted it numerous times in my on my page that I'm building out my tech business, and even with work that I do, I'm trying to find ways to diversify my income. So it was nice hearing from other professionals, um, learning with people, learning from people. And yeah, I found this whole thing very useful. And this is something I say about the ridiculous royal family. Instead of trying to like sell us their fake smiles or their fake, everything they do is just utterly and completely fake. They accuse Megan of fakery, but they are even more fake. Megan, in her own way, is creating things that reach out to people. We will never be able to get into her world. We will never be, but that's fine. She went into business. She's made a podcast and has made and brought different women together so that women can learn and even men and be motivated. That is an act of service, guys. Right? She didn't spend any money. I mean, obviously, she must have, with equipment, arranging people's diaries, doing that wasn't easy. But that's a service because she's brought something and made it accessible. You can always go back and rewatch the podcast if you miss it the first time and learn something new and be motivated, right? So yeah, I have nothing. I mean, that was incredible. Kudos to Megan. As always, it's very bittersweet. It's coming to an end, or it has come to an end. I'm very sad actually. But yeah, guys, in the chat, what did you learn? Did you enjoy it? Did you get something out of it? Did you find it motivational? Did you, you know, it'd be nice to hear from the chat. Get your thoughts on the whole thing. I just really enjoyed it. And yeah, I would say if I had to rate all of the episodes, I think the one with Jamie, who has that lovely speaking voice, I enjoyed the most. I found it very profound. I enjoyed the conversation on the bootstrapping because I think a lot of people all over the world can relate to it. I enjoyed the first episode as well. All of them had their own thing that they brought to the table. I don't know if we will get another season. I'm hoping we do get another season. And I'm hoping we get another season, frankly, Maybe she gets a different set of entrepreneurs this time. And again, look, this is what I like about Megan. With every idea she brings, you can think about how she can make it bigger, right? Okay, now she's brought female founders. The next time she could get another set of female founders who want to be platformed. And I know what I've observed with Megan is she tends to use her platform to help people. So I know somebody I joined in to say, oh, why doesn't she get Jackie Aina or all of these more popular influencers? And I'm not saying she can't collaborate with these people, but I can see her saying, Jackie Aina has 1 million followers. Let me find somebody else who needs that platform and platform them. And yeah, I can see her doing that, frankly. She comes off as somebody who, and she said it during her interview with Jamie, that she likes that in some way she likes to do things that helps platform people. So yeah, I mean, and sorry for going on that segue, but what I was trying to say is the female founder thing, she could make it more for obscure female founders, people you may not have heard from, but she's motivated by or inspired by, and give them a platform that helps their business, which is incredible. It may not even be a podcast next time. She could start a community group. She could start something, a non-profit for women who want to, become entrepreneurs, and you could join them, and she could help you connect with networks. I mean, think everything she does, I believe, is so intentional, and it's not just for eye service. You can see the intention behind it, and that's what I really appreciate Megan for. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, exactly. A place where you don't have to, people like us that are maybe like have a few hundred to our name, that don't have, rich parents or rich friends, we don't live in Clapham, we don't live in Richmond, we don't have rich daddies who were investment bankers. We are people who are just, scrapping around trying to, like, I have an idea, I'm going to go to networks, I'm going to do it the hard way. I don't have a group of people to do it for me. A lot of people online on YouTube are like that. They started with nothing, had an idea, found an audience, and built a community. And that's why I said Megan's podcast really motivated me, because it's like there are times I do get down. I'm like, "Ah, why isn't my subscriber count growing? How do I grow my count? I need to expand my content. It can't just be, I mean, like, it's great having you guys here, but like, I need money for that. I need, okay, how am I going to do it? I'm already working as it is. So, like, many of us get stuck in our own head, worrying about, oh, this problem, that problem. How do I scale? How do I do that? And podcasts like these keep us going, because you hear from different women who also had similar problems, who struggled, who cried, who sat down in the dark and were like, oh my God, this is too much. Many of them are married, many of them have kids, but somehow they've been able to do it. So to me, to me, I see it as powerfully motivational. Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, it's very, I think, yes, I would love to see that. But I think what Megan did this first time was she probably started off with people that she knew, or people that were local to her, because it's easier. And you have to also bear in mind that when you're starting these new ventures, she may, because I know if you recall from my interview, she said she had a wish list. It might very well be that she reached out to people and they were not interested, or they were not available when she was available. But she thought, okay, you know what, let me get people I know. Let me start with this audience. Let me see if people like it. Then next time I can expand. So that's my point. There's room for expansion here. She can come back next season. And to Lorna's point, yeah, get us the CEO of Carol's daughter, the Johnson family that owned BET. The sky is the limit. She started it. I can see her taking it far. But yeah, I mean, that aside, for us two that are listening to it, it's really just really motivational to get these women and hear them. But yes, I do agree. I want a more diverse audience. And that's something that I've always felt like Megan needs to get better with, frankly. Give us more diversity. I mean, she tries. I'm not saying she tries, but like, give us people. I appreciate these are her friendship circles, but I would like to see more diversity, more genuine diversity. So let's see. I'm sure she will take that feedback and use it. And yeah. What else did you guys enjoy about the platform? Oh, I like that. Someone like Angela Reese. I can see that. I can see that. Like I said, that first season of Archetypes, she had Issa Rae, she had Ziwe, she had Mariah, she had Serena. I want to see more. But I guess it drives the question, right? Uh, how many female billionaires do we have out there? I'm not saying they don't exist, but yeah, like, it's something to talk about, how to get into those circles, how to diversify the pack. And yeah, got my hair, look at my face. This blue light is making me feel like I'm wrinkled, I'm exhausted. See how tired I am, guys. I really am quite exhausted. This has been a hell of a week. I was working on something and it blew up in my face. But yeah, there's a video I want to do talking about an interview that Megan did. I was going to do it on the live, but I think I'll do it as a video because the live takes so long to takes. Do you guys find that the live takes a long time to upload? I'm not particularly sure why. It could take like 2-3 days, and I'm like, why is it taking so long? And I really want people to listen to this interview. Yeah, Elfaz, I agree. This feels more genuine. I think with that one, the other one felt a bit more. She got a bunch of celebrities together to have a conversation. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But like this feels more. What's the word I'm looking for? This feels more accessible. Maybe because it's female entrepreneurship. And many women I know, and women are entrepreneurs, women are business women. So I can see why my hair is wet, bear with me. I can see why many of us would like this type of content. But yeah, like I said, it's come to an end. Aww. I'm hoping we hear more from her. I have a feeling because if you notice, guys, with Love Megan, she released it, let it come out, then she announced the podcast. So I have a feeling something is coming. I'm going to do my Megan video now. Yeah, that is true. The UK, we don't have any. Okay, that's not true. Of course, the UK has a lot of business. We actually have the Black British Awards. I don't like bringing it up because, interestingly, clown Sophie Chandoka. Do you know Sophie Chandoka was the head of the Black Business Awards? Which is why they gave her the opportunity to be the CEO of Centibelli, and she ended up showing her ass. And of course, we've now heard that, because of her shenanigans, um, because of her shenanigans, the Black Business Awards does not exist anymore. So I don't know if it does exist, but yeah, um, yeah. Sorry, I'm in my head because I'm thinking the podcast got me thinking about business, like how to. For those of us that live in the UK, how to build a community of businesses and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's really quite interesting. But yeah, while you're here, for those of us that just joined, my membership drive is still on. Nobody has joined yet. I want to explain what you're going to get as part of the membership, which I probably should have done. This is not just um a money grab. This is a way to help grow the channel. And honestly, I want to build a community, really. So when I did my live on my podcast about tech, some ladies were asking some pretty interesting questions around APIs and, how would this happen and how would that happen? And I thought, you know what, it'd be nice to have a small community of people where, especially black women and brown women, oh, is that true, Lorna? But anyway, a community of women, actually, I would like women or even men where we can just not talk about, the Sussexes, their success. And I find that many of us come here and you see, oh, Lorna recognizes Karen recognizes Elfaz. A small community for us to get together to talk. The membership will come with, we will have members only live where we can have proper conversations with each other. There's a Discord we can join where we can verbally talk to each other without you having to share your personal information like your number and your credentials. We can encourage and support each other, and you can help me build the community. You can help me support the channel so we can get better content. They started monetizing a lot of the content, so it's hard to react to a lot of things now. It's not hard, but like a lot of things I would react to are now becoming monetized. So I always have to think about, okay, how do I keep these Sussex news going and honest and without compromising the quality. So like I said, you get Discord, we can do face-to-face voice chats, we can have our members only chat, we can have members only socials. I live in London. We can have those days where you don't even have to meet me physically. We can just have like a Zoom session, talk to each other, catch up on Megan and what's going on in the Sussexes. And yeah, this is something the membership will give us, a way to build that type of community. And this is why I'm very keen, it's £3 a month. But if that's too expensive, chat, we can bring it down to two. It's fine. But I need feedback because nobody is saying anything, so I don't know. Is there something that you'd like? We can have members live where I can address questions that you ask me directly. We can, again, all part of building the community. But then I think one other thing as well is I know that everybody is going through a very difficult financial time. So again, whatever you can do to support, if you're saying, okay, I can't join a membership, but I can give you a super chat, fine, that's okay too. Like, don't feel you not joining a membership is going to compromise what you get on this channel. This is a Sussex safe space for all of us. Yeah. And yeah. So it's really, yeah. I just wanted to give you guys more context on the membership. Yeah, Karen, I agree. I understand many of us would like to see more diversity, but I think it's good that exactly, let her handle it the way she can, the way she wants to. The aim here is to support the Sussexes. This is her community, and I also don't want diversity for diversity's sake. I don't want her to feel, oh, let me bring a black, the way the royal family does their nonsense. Because I know she does. I mean, she does support people of color, but let her do it in a way that feels authentic and genuine. And it's not always easy vetting people. So I can understand why she's very careful about who she brings on her platform, because the Daily Mail is excessively scrutinizing her. So if she brings anybody and there's even a black mark on them, they will, the narratives they will pull. But yeah, some things from the podcast I wanted to quickly cover about Megan, about her relationship with Netflix. It's so exciting. Like I said, I'm going to do a video now where I talk about that article because I think it's very interesting. I think it's very, it gives an insight into where this is going. And this is why one thing I love about the Sussexes is every single day or every few days, they just completely destroy the narrative without even having to try. It just makes the British press look very, very stupid every single day. And that, for me, this is my Sheila. This is my joy right there, making the British press look as incompetent and out of touch, and they know nothing about this couple. Every day they prove it right that they know nothing about Harry and Meghan, and frankly it is fantastic to see. So I'm going to do two videos. The first one, I am going to show you why I think Kate Middleton is an illiterate. Sorry, Princess Catherine. Let's call people by their names. And the next one, the first one, of course, I'm going to talk about Harry and Meghan, because Harry was in Shanghai looking and sounding fabulous. So I'm going to do a video where I kind of do a Sussex roundup based on that. And we're also going to, recap the article, because Meghan rarely gives interviews. So I'm going to talk about the interview and the insights that came out of it. But yeah, it's been fun and it's been very motivational listening to Confessions of a Female Founder with you guys, you lovely people. Please continue to support the channel the best way you can. If not financially, please continue to subscribe, watch my videos. And yeah, Karen, I saw that, but I don't know if it's verified. I'm not sure if it's verified. I want to see. I have a feeling, but the funny thing, because it did not fit the narrative of the British press, I can see them ignoring it, because the narrative they were trying to push. It might be that they ignore it, but I will react to Sophie Sandok. I saw it earlier, but because I couldn't verify, I didn't bother reacting to it. So yeah, but don't worry. As soon as I do it, I'm gonna do a video, and we're going to drag Sophie. Trust. We're gonna get the tea. It might be a video or it might be a live. You guys let me know what you want. So yeah, let me let you guys go and let me do the video where we recap Meghan's interview and Harry's very successful very successful visit to Shanghai. King Charles is probably enjoying the rare, and I say this, very rare positive response he's getting in Canada. And I'm sure he's aware the only reason why they give a shite is because everybody hates me. It's kind of like a rebellious type of thing because of the whole Trump fiasco. So I hope Charles doesn't get too enthusiastic. The only reason they care is because of what Trump has done. So yeah, we'll catch up on that. The Sophie thing, let's see how it goes. I will definitely drag that heifer. We can either do it on a live or we'll do it on a video. Let's see. I'm going to be in the office tomorrow. But yeah, guys, thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for listening together. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. It's a shame it's over, but I have a feeling Megan is going to release something. So stay tuned so that you can get the tea from the source. Take care and have a good one, guys. Bye bye.